Mic check, mic check. Hey there, everybody. How we doing? Mic check, mic check. I hope I can be heard. Um, a little bit slow here today. I do apologize. It has been a little bit of a morning. I need to close that. Alrighty, looks like I can close down Discord, I think. Maybe? Maybe not. I don't know. Anyway. Um, One final push over here. Double check, make sure my screen is looking all right. Camera. No, not that. I put away my camera when I'm not using it, so I have to kind of adjust. Okay, so we've got that going. All right. So today we are continuing on with this game that I'm making. fresh coffee is always the best. And as is the name for the stream, we're going to be working on the UI. And before we even get into the code, we're going to come down here, UI basic layout needs. Just let me go ahead and add a number of spaces to get this all to the top. Hold on, I just got a Discord notification. Where is, there we go, streamer mode. Enable streamer mode. I am streaming, so don't pop up and make noises at me. All right, so today's layout is not going to actually be getting into any code yet. We're still working mostly in text. I hope to transition into Affinity Designer and kind of do a rough layout of what I at least think the layout should look like. So kind of do, what's what I'm looking for? We're looking for a, not a scaffold, but just, the basic layout, the skeletal frame, whatever those are called. I don't know, it's too early. I need my coffee. Also, I realized, let's see if I can get some ambient music going on here. Oh, there we go. Let's see, what do we got here today? I need, let's do this one. So I'm sorry, I'm on my other screen here. Oh, that should be that. Maybe? No. Wait, what is going on? Okay, that should be that. No, I don't want that. I need, maybe? Sorry, I have my streaming software in the other screen here, and I'm just trying to figure out exactly how it all works. Okay, so add an audio track.
Grammar, they make boats now?
It's more of a metaphorical boat.
Go.
Because I've been using Grammarly's AI for years to keep me Try it. Grammarly can look through your writing to make it easier to understand.
How do I?
Whoa.
Clearer.
Cool.
And better. Now people will get what you're trying to say and you won't be flooded with
So I have it set for it to be in
Can you do mine? No problem.
Meld Studio, but
Your writing
I
is good,
can't
but
actually,
your
wait.
choices could be better. Wow. Now your writing is as confident as you are. If that's even possible.
And of course it's playing an ad right now.
Well, what about our proposal?
Let me take a look. Woof. You'll be in deep water if you show this. Grammarly can point out what's missing. Right there. The CEO will
I wish I could just have
You
a,
should connect the projections back to company strategy.
Yeah, how could I?
On it.
well then,
10% higher revenue by next year.
I'm sending it in.
no.
The CEO loves it. Budget and headcount.
Oh wow, this is
Let's get everyone on board.
kind of annoying.
I meant
Yeah, it's
download Grammarly for free.
a bunch of ads. Stop playing ads and just give me the music. Oh my gosh, this is ridiculous.
This is how AI optimizes my skill.
Okay, I do apologize. I'm still learning how all of this works. So it's going to be just a minute, but I'm trying to, it's Lo-Fi Girl, so it's royalty free, able to be streamed and whatnot. So that's what I'm using. but it's loading directly from YouTube, so I have no actual cursor to like click on the skip ad button. So we're just gonna go ahead and make that like super small up there right now, and just wait for it to finish its stupid ads. Once it's done, it should be nothing but music for 3 hours. I wonder if there's a way to... No. Dadgummit. I do apologize. Hopefully this is the last ad. There we go. I can just hide that and keep the audio. Look at that, I'm learning how to do this streaming thing. Okay. So we'll go ahead and just lower the volume a little bit there. That sounds good to me. If anybody is actually watching and it's too loud, let me know. But anyway, back to that. We are going to be, first off, enumerating the things that we want to be on the UI layout. And then from there, once I have a pretty good list, I'm gonna jump on over to Designer and kind of sketch out a blueprint. That's what I was looking for, blueprint. Okay, so the obvious needs are the game board. And if we go back to main touch point number 1, we are treating this as a single player board game. So what does a board game have? It has a game board. We need a dice tray. So anytime an action is performed, the dice are rolled in the dice tray. And so that will show the probably not going to be actual like six-sided dice rolling, but just a square box with numbers randomly changing, because it's two-dimensional art and easier to do just that instead of trying to figure out how to make a 3D looking roll in 2D. Maybe later games I'll be able to do that, but not right now. So it just shows the dice rolling, and then we'll display the results. We need character skills. So I'm thinking something along the lines of, like if you're playing you got like your deck of cards in your hand that says these are the things you can do. So we'll have that be displayed kind of at the bottom of the screen. And I'm saying character skills and not player skills, because I think to go back to no hidden mechanics, if you select an enemy on the screen, then the skill tray, so maybe we'll just call this skill tray, and apparently tray is the word I'm using for everything. So when you click on, so when you have nobody selected or your character selected, it'll show the player character skills. But if you select an enemy, it'll show the enemy skills. So you kind of get an idea of what they're going to be doing or what they're capable of. Then we'll have the character display, which will have the stats listed out. So you click on your character or have no one selected, it'll show like your health, your character's speed, strength, spirit, action points left, all that type of thing. And then if you click on an enemy, it'll show the enemy stats. So we'll just keep saying tray. It's a tray. And I don't know why I am capitalizing. We have the game board, dice tray. Sorry, there's some pipes right behind me. I'm hearing water going through. I'm like, what is that? Neighbor's probably taking a shower or something. So we have our dice tray that shows the dice being rolled and the results. We have the skill tray that shows the skills for the selected character. And again, if no character is selected, it defaults to the player character. Stat tray will be the same thing. On I'm thinking that the game board is kind of going to be offset from center a little bit, so that way we have room on one side or the other for the stat tray. Um, so that way, so I was originally thinking have the game board in the middle, but then you have a lot of, I'm going to just say wasted space on either side. So like when you bring up the stat tray, it would have to move the game board over to display all the information. And if you have anything unselected, if it defaults to the player character, then we don't need to have it slide in and out. It'll just be there. So the game board will be off-centered with the skill tray on one side, or with the stats tray on the one side, the skill tray probably underneath the game board, and the dice tray underneath that is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that I might also want to have maybe a quick view tray, but that kind of, so my idea of the quick view tray is it has like a little icon for every character, for the player character and for each monster on the board, with just a health bar. So at a glance, you can just see what the current status is, and like if there's any status effects affecting them. But that kind of goes against the idea of it's a board game, because board games don't have ways of auto-populating and auto-updating that kind of information. So possibly not that, but there we go, that's what I wanted. And a lot of turn-based games show status icons near the character, but most of them are not. The ones that I'm thinking of aren't grid-based. They're just, more Final Fantasy style, where you've got players on one side, enemies on the other, and they're clashing just on the screen with no tactical movement or anything. So it's easy to display status icons. And the quick view tray might become quite muddled in the late game when you're throwing around a lot of status effects. So I'm not sure. That's why I have a little question mark here on it. So that's a possibility. But I think it's kind of, when I hit save, it deleted all the excess lines. That's what happened. So I think that might just be it. Trying to think what else could be useful. Game board, dice tray, skill tray, stat tray, possibly a quick view tray. Potentially a turn order marker of some kind. I'll just go ahead and put a question mark there, because that's maybe yes, maybe no. Who knows? We'll see. Yeah. Hold on real quick. I'm gonna put everybody on pause. I need to go check on, doesn't sound like water? I don't know. Give me a second. I will be right back. I need to. Be right back. Let's go ahead and put that in the middle. I will be right back. Look at that. Okay, sorry about that. we are all set. Oh, so I think that's going to be everything for now. So let's go ahead and open Affinity Designer. Yeah, sure, 1080 by 1080, why not? So Affinity Designer is the non-shitty version of Adobe InDesign. It's not a subscription service, it's just you pay for it and you have it. So it's pretty cool. I've been using it for literally forever. As soon as it first came out, I was like, yes, I need this. And I've been using it for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. How old is it? Anyway, regardless, let's go ahead and change this to it's actually a good question. No, not you. There we go. Have a cheat sheet over here. So we are going to go 720 by 1280. Nope, that was wrong. I need 1280 by 720. There we go. So I'm doing a widescreen version on this because this is what most computer monitors look like. And so this is what you are going to be seeing when you open up the game. So we are going to grab some squares. So this here is going to be no, yeah, HSL is what I want. So here's the dice tray. Dice tray. We can go ahead and just make that a child of that, so that way click, click, click. So we're gonna grab this, kind of. Where's the center line? Sure, we'll just call it like that. So there's our dice tray. It's gonna be at the bottom. Dice tray. You know, we're just gonna go ahead and duplicate this. And this one is going to be called the game board. And this one is going to be a red color. And of course the text here is going to be game board. So we can kind of move this up a little bit. I'll make it a slightly different size. And of course the size is not to scale. I'm just kind of, and big in. There you go. All right. So we're just kind of messing around with relative positioning here. What else do we have? Our skills and stats tray. So move that up a little bit more. And we'll go ahead and duplicate again. No, first we're going to do the skills tray. And then the skills tray is going to be a nice dark green. And it's going to be about yay big. We'll just make it the same size as the dice tray for symmetry, because people like symmetry. Don't need to do that. So we have the skills tray, duplicate. This one is going to be the stats tray. Oops. Stats tray. We're gonna make the stats in orange. Make it a more of a burnt orange, or whatever color you want to call that. So our stats tray is going to go over here. And of course, I'm just going to move that a little bit. Boom. So this is kind of what it should be looking like. No. Give me a second. No, that's not the right button. Dadgummit. No, stop it. Fine. Do it old-fashioned way. There. Okay. All right, so there we go. Or maybe the game board and stats tray will flip-flop. I'm not sure, but that's kind of the idea we're going for. And of course, the stats tray can be smaller. We'll make the game board a little bit bigger. So something like that. And obviously the spaces in between will be, oops. The spaces in between here will be adjusted and whatnot, because the dice tray is probably going to be a lot smaller. Skill tray will be a lot bigger because I haven't figured out exactly what I'm going to be doing for the font yet, which is going to be interesting, but Pixel font is not exactly small. So that's kind of what we're going to be going for. So I am going to save this. Where do I have this? Open in File Manager. There we go. Projects, Godot, Wizard Tower. File, save as. Projects, Godot, Wizard's Tower. Let's go ahead and add a new folder. What did we decide to call this? We are calling it the UI outline. And, or rather the folder. Really? I really did, didn't I? Oh, for crying out loud. Whoops. File, save as. It's not untitled, it is, because I wanted to rename. Call it scaffolds. UI scaffold. So anytime there is another type of scaffold that I want to make, I just throw it in the scaffolds folder. And because I have this in GitHub repository, this file will go along with it. So I have right here my my visual reference, and I don't have to worry about accidentally losing it. Okay, so that is what that's going to look like. Now, I think, what is it? Well, then you're going to see Godot ignore. You're going to see exactly how people do stuff. To exclude directories from being shown in an autofill feature in Godot, you can create an empty file name .gdignore. For version control, you can add entries to your git ignore file to exclude directories that you do not want to track. No, that's Godot.gitignore. Godot forums, here we go. 2018. Yeah, it's pretty much always been gdignore. So we're going to new terminal add folder. Boom. Okay, so there's that .gdignore. So now if I go back to Godot, just go ahead and delete that, save project, we'll reload current project. And now if you look, we have asset scenes source, but we do not show the scaffolds folder because gdignore is telling the editor to ignore that folder. So it won't show up in Godot, but when I okay, hold on, let's go back. New terminal add folder. So when we open up the Git GUI, you see that scaffold. Oh, I need to get rid of that stupid DS store. Freaking hate that. But anyway, so I've got the scaffold stuff right there. I don't know why there's this log file. I need to figure out how to get rid of that. Anyway, I don't remember exactly how to I'm gonna have to do a little bit more. There you go. No, I don't remember. Anyway, Git GUI is nice to kind of give you a visual representation so you don't have to do everything in the command line, but I guess I could have just done git status. And I think I just need to add the .ds store to my git ignore file. Oops. Because those are just something that then .git ignore. There we go. So if I get status, that .ds store is not showing up. It's just something that Mac throws in to pretty much every folder for some reason or other. So let's get add, git ignore, project.godot, scaffolds, and of course, readme, git commit, message, updated, readme, added scaffold directory, git push /u, origin main. I spelled main wrong. Whoops. I'm gonna have to work on that, but that's gonna be something to do off camera because I really don't need to worry about that right now. Actually, if I go back to get GUI, because I used that last time. Push. Push. There we go. So I don't know why it's not working in the command line, but it is working on get GUI, but there it is. Maybe I'll do a tutorial on get GUI because I just recently learned about that and it's pretty cool. But anyway, let's go back to, no, we need to go back to Affinity Designer. Okay, so this is the basic outline of what we're going to be doing. And so the nice thing about doing it this way is not only does it give me a visual reference of what I'm shooting for, but it kind of gives me an idea of, in Godot, what all of my scenes are going to be. So like each one of these different boxes, like the game board is going to be a scene, the stats tray will be its own scene, the skills tray will be its own scene, the dice tray, which for some reason dice tray is capital, everything else is not, so let's go ahead and change that. Whoops. So all of these different boxes are going to be their own scene. And then I will have one main scene, which I guess will be like the game table, we can call it, which is going to be the whole background area here. All of it is on the game table, which will be like the main scene that's used. And then just things will be modified and changed out some. So one thing we are going to do right now is, actually, let's go back. docs.godotengine.org. Okay. One of the things that as game designers we need to get used to is reading the docs. And one of the most important things here is common use case scenarios, desktop games. So we are looking at the pixel art here, and it's just docs.godotengine.org. I have it bookmarked, which is why when I typed in DOC, it just auto-populated. Or rather, it's not bookmarked because I don't have it starred, but like I use it all the time. So we want the base window size to be viewport size you intend to use. Most pixel art used between 256 by 244 and 640 by 480. 640 by 360 is a good baseline. It scales to 720p, 1080p, 1440, and 2160. I think this is 2K. Basically, 640 by 360 is kind of the baseline for 16 by 9 aspect ratio, which is what 97% of all computer monitors are. Mobile devices don't always adhere to those specifications. I think the iPad series, like all of the iPads are 16 by 9, but if you can even find Android tablets anymore, which believe me, I tried. Last year I tried to get an Android tablet for my birthday and it was difficult finding one. But they are not all 16 by 9. Either that or it's, I can't remember, no. Yes? I don't remember. Anyway, 16 by 9 is your normal aspect ratio for computer screens. And so if you're going to be doing anything on desktop, that's always a good place to start. And then what I did was I created this spreadsheet here because I like spreadsheets. Because of the, let's reopen Finder. Documents, mini fantasy. Let's start with, where'd it go? No, seasonal content. Where'd it go? It's a Wizard Academy. That's not what I wanted. Wizard's Tower, there we go. All right, so the Wizard's Tower. Usually it comes in with, okay, so let's just look at the dungeon. All right, so the dungeon, no? Deep caves. Come on. Well, regardless, all of these are, they're 8x8. Just go ahead and open, nope, not rename, just open the daggone picture. All right, so all of these are 8 pixels. There, so see, 8x8 pixels. You can kind of see in the, so all of these are 8 pixels. Zoom in better, so we see 8x8 there. So it's an 8x8 pixel set, right? So I went ahead and and created a table for 16x9, the number of pixels. So I just did 1 all the way to 120, and then just modified the. So I took the this number times 16 is the width times the height, and that's how many pixels wide and tall. And because the tiles are 8x8, so anything that's a multiple of 16 is also a multiple of 8. So the width is not going to be a problem. So what I then did is I found all of the heights that are also a multiple of 8. So here we have 72 pixels, which is a 16 grid size wide by 9 grid size tall, 32 by 18, 48 by 27. The recommended for pixel art, 640 by 360. If the entire screen was taken up by a grid map, it would be 80 cells by 45 cells, or grid. The map would be 80 squares wide by 45 tall. And I just did that all the way up to, so here's 720p, 1280 by 720, all the way up to 1080p, which would be a whopping 240 grid cells wide by 135 grid cells tall. So I'm not going to be doing that, but we're going to start here at the recommended. Godot recommends 640 by 360. Oh, I don't know if you guys can hear it, but there is a siren going off. I mentioned last time that a block and a half away from my house is the fire station, so we get that occasionally. So there's no way that I'm going to be using an 80 by 45 grid space. So so my default screen size is probably gonna start here where Godot suggests. Right there. So it says 640 by 360 is a good baseline. So that's where I'm gonna start, because the grid maps that I'm gonna be using, I'm gonna have 1 player character and maybe half a dozen other whoops, wrong button. Half a dozen other NPCs, monsters, whatever you want to call them. So we're looking at most, 7 or possibly 8 on the outside on-screen characters. So even if we did a 4x4 grid for everything, if we do some quick math, 4 by 8, that would be a 32 by 32 pixels. 32 by 32 for the game board. So one of the reasons why I made this game board rectangular instead of square is to, try to keep the 16 by 9 resolution. So even if I went down here, 128 by 72, that's still 16 wide by 9 tall. That is more than enough for any, if we just do that 16 by 9, that's 144 tiles, or 144 squares on a grid map. That is more than enough for 7 or 8 units to be on the screen at once. So long way of saying that 640 by 360 is going to be a perfect resolution size, and it gives us a lot of room to maneuver in order to have everything we need on screen. If it's still a little small, I can make everything a little bit bigger and go to the 768 by 432. Regardless of anything else, we want to make sure that we stick with the 16 by 9 aspect ratio, because that's what your monitor is at. I mean, I could literally use any of them, but if I keep with these, then I know at least that it is in multiples of 8, which is my grid size, but also any font that I use that is pixel font. Usually they're like 4, 8, or 16 pixels tall, I think. Yeah. Pixel fonts are usually rated on the height, and then sometimes they tell you what the width is, but so as long as I keep it in multiples of 8, I know that I'm not going to have any problems with the font fitting either. And also, if we start at 640 by 360, and it's a little bit, it's not quite right, I need to go a little bit bigger. Well, if I go to 656 by 369, yeah, it's still 16 by 9 aspect ratio, but I don't know that that's too small of a jump. You always want to over exaggerate when you're experimenting and when you're testing things out. So a lot of times it is suggested that if you think a number is too small, you should double it. If a number is too big, you should reduce it by half. That way you have a large variance to kind of help you zero in on where that sweet spot is. So you double it or you have it, and you're like, okay, this is a little too extreme in one way or the other. So then you it's kind of like a binary search. Okay, so that is too much. Let's go back in the middle. Okay, it's still too big. Let's go in the middle the other way. Oh, it's too small. Let's go in the middle the other way. So with this, at least we have our jump points. So every 9 pixels. So we go from 640 to 768, 360 to 432, as opposed to 640 to 56. That's two squares in one direction. If 640 by 360 is not enough, 654 by 369 is not going to be enough. So this kind of gives us a rough jump points to get to. And it's like, okay, this is kind of what we're looking for. I can tell you I'm not going this big because I'm not going to need it. So my guess is that 640 by 360 is going to be enough. If not, we'll up it to 768 by 432, and that should be enough. And if that's not enough, then I have made some big mistakes in in how I'm making it. And if I have to go to 896 by 504, that is the absolute maximum. Anything beyond that, and I need to start cutting stuff back because that is too much. But yeah, so spreadsheets are nice. I use Affinity Designer for scaffolding or doing basic. Trying to think of the word again that I found earlier, but whatever. I think Figma allows you to do things like this for free. If you have Adobe, you can use InDesign. If you have a Windows computer, you can use MS Paint. There are so many different ways of doing things. Uh-oh, where'd my music go? Why did you stop, music? Ugh. I'm gonna have to figure that out off camera because that is annoying. So we'll just go ahead and stop even trying. But it's fine because we're pretty much done for the day, and it's been almost an hour, which is great. Kind of what I was hoping for. So we have our basics. So we have the game board, we have the dice tray, we have the skill tray, we have the stats tray. I'm still debating over quick view and turn order marker. Let's go ahead and just duplicate that and call this one the turn order, and then the turn order is going to be whatever color this is. So the turn order probably can actually, no, I don't want you. Just pull you down a little bit. So that can be up top, which might be able to double as the quick view tray. So like we'll have a icons of each monster and the character in the game running across here, showing what order the turns can be taken. Then if like you mouse over it, then either it'll slide out with their health and have the status underneath it, or maybe it'll just be the turn order and not worry about the stats. Because if you want to know what the stats are of various things, just click on them in the game, and it'll populate the stats tray and the skills tray to show you what they have. And now that I think about it, a mechanic that a lot of other games have, mostly for real-time games, is the speed controls, like making things go faster or slower, or pausing the game so you can think. Let's just go ahead and monster turn speed control. So my idea for that is that there would be, let's go ahead and just draw it out. Like you'd have where's my duplicate? No. Duplicate. So you have like dang it, I need to throw some text in there. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit. And because I am, whoa. You need to be a child of. Okay, so why are you not showing up anymore? Everything else, well, regardless. Just go ahead and move all you up here. Boom. So I have slow, medium, fast, and of course, fine. All right, so I have like the slow, medium, fast button. So that way, when the player is playing the game, they can determine how fast the enemies take their turn. You want to get through really quick and just move on, you'll click the fast button. If you want to actually have it slow down, which would be this one here, so there's more of a delay between, the monster takes its action and like, okay, so now I'm going to move, and then it goes through the movements very slow. Now I'm selecting the skill. Now it's happening, or you just want to get through and move on to the next match. That's something to think about also, which could be useful or might just be annoying. I don't know. We'll put that on the back burner. That's why it has the anything with a question mark is something to come back to optionally, but these four are the main ones, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then this stuff, let's go ahead and change the color of that a little bit. And then make those white. Okay. And we'll go ahead and save that one more time. And just because we can, oh, of course, no. Finder. New terminal. Get status. Get add. README. Add those two. Get status. Get commit. Add a message. Added speed buttons to scaffold image and to README. Just go ahead and load the get GUI again because at least I know that remote push, close. This lock file is probably going to go away as soon as I close Affinity Designer. Who knows? But anyway, we are 3 minutes before the hour's up, so that's where we're going to end it. I hope it all makes sense. If anybody wants to get a hold of me, you can reach out to me on Discord. I am at Beck, that's at 13ECK. You can email me at yt@beck.dev. It should be somewhere linked on my YouTube page. It's whatever, you can find me there. Or if you're on Blue Sky, I am at beck.dev, at 13eck.dev. Otherwise, have yourself a great rest of the day. And I still need to figure out a call off. But you know what? We'll figure it out. It's fine. It's fine. We'll figure it out. Have a good rest of your day.